Hariom everyone, welcome to this class on Purusha Sukta. We'll start with the chanting first. Om Sahana Vavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Saha Viryam Karvavahai Tejasvinavaditamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Gananam Tva Ganapatigam Havamahe Kavim Kavinam ज्येष्ठराजं ब्रह्मणां ब्रह्मणस्पत आनशृण्वन्नोतिभिः सीदसादनम् ॐ श्रीमहागणपतये नमः सरस्वती नमस्तुभ्यं वरदे कामरूपिणि विद्यारम्भं करिष्यामि सिद्धिर्भवतु मे सदा गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुरेव परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरुवे नमः तस्मै श्री गुरुवे नमः. Purusha Sukta. Just chat the 6th and 7th verses for now. Uru tadasya yadvaishyah adbhyagam shudro ajayat chandrama manaso jatah chaksho suryo ajayat मुखादिन्द्रश्चाग्निश्च प्राणाद् वायुरजायत नाभ्या आसीत् अन्तरिक्षम् शीष्णोऽध्यो समवर्तत पद्भ्यां भूमिर्दिशश्रोत्रात् तथा लोकागम अकल्पयन् वेदाहमेतं पुरुषं महान्तम् आदित्यवर्णं तमसस्तु पारे सर्वाणि रूपाणि विचित्य धीरः नामानि कृत्वाभिवदन् यदास्ते धाता पुरस्ताद्यम् मुदा जहार शक्रः प्रविद्वान् प्रदिशश्चतस्रः तमेवं विद्वान् अमृत हि भवति नान्यः पन्था अयनाय विद्यते यज्ञेन यज्ञम् अयजन्त देवाः तानि धर्माणि प्रथमान्यासं तेहनाकं महिमानः सचन्ते यत्र पूर्वे साध्या सन्ति देवाः. So we are looking at the sadhya and the sadhya devas. We started earlier with the this Veda Aham Purusham Mahantam, that infinite Purusha. Once we discover as the nature of Aditya Varnam, as the nature of light, Tamasastu Pare, beyond any kind of negativity, beyond any kind of tamas. So once that is known, then the nature of all objects is known. Sarvani Rupani Vichitya Dhiraha. The nature of each object as having name and form and as an essence behind it, Satchitanand Swarupa, that is known to the Dhira, Vichitya Dhira. So, Vichitya, someone who does Vivekaha, someone who analyzes, that intelligent person, Dhira. And once he sees that, then he can separate. What can he separate? Namani Kritva Abhivadan. So, he can separate the names and forms from that essence, Abhivadan. He worships, he surrenders, yadaste, yadaha te, that higher essence that upholds everything, dhata, purastadhyam, that upholds everything, dharan karta, dhata, and that has been from times eternal, purastadhyam udajahara. So that, and which is known to the devas, the devas. Chakra is the Indra Devta, the Devta of that of that Vigyan or that Viveka, who provides that knowledge, Pravidvan, who makes us knowledgeable, and Pradishas Chatasraha, who makes us aware of the directions, who makes us aware of everything around us. Tameva Vidvan Amrita Iha Bhavati. So that Vidvan, that knowledgeable person who has been endowed with this knowledge of the eternal, he becomes immortal here itself. Amritam iha bhavati. In this world itself, in this birth itself, without needing to leave the body. Because the body is a restriction, but the body does not need to be left physically conceptually, if I can separate myself from the body, I regain my eternal self. And Nanyaf Pantha Ayanaya Vidyate. There is no other path to liberation. Only this, rediscover your true self, no other path. And then Yajnena Yajnam Ayajantah Deva. And then learn, since you are going to live in this body with the Yajna Bhavaha, Yajnena Yajnam Ayajantah Deva. Call the Devas, call the powers all around you to help you in this journey. Tani dharmani prathamanyasan. Pay attention to their nature, to their properties, and also that even though they are available somewhere far away, teha nakam mahimanas chante. Even though those devas live in some higher place, in some higher heaven, you bring them down by your sadhana. Yatra purve sadhya santi deva. You meditate on their aspect that connects you to that highest aspect. That sadhya aspect of those devatas you connect to, which takes you to their highest aspect. So that highest aspect is that of the sadhya devas. The sadhya devas are the ones who have that aspect of connecting to us to Parameshwara, who are true highest nature, right? So we saw there are two aspects of this sadhya devas. One aspect is one that gives us our desires. That is also done by Paramatma at the highest level also. But he doesn't want that. He wants us to connect to his highest self. So once we ask that, we saw the example of Arjuna also, no? So he asked for complete victory. So Devi Ma gave him Vairagya. But then for that current moment, it was needed to fight the war. So Bhagwan led him to fight the war. So that is how we take this. No, so where we are looking at this part in the text also, that whatever be the duty, yajnena yajnamaya jantaha deva. That yajna we have to do. We can't escape that yajna, right? We can't escape our duties. So those duties that are to be allocated to us, that we have to do. So now when we connect to these sadhya devas will do what? They will remove our desires, remove our external desires or desires that bind us, you can say, and take us closer to Paramatma, right? So if the potential is there, we can take on anything. Once we realize the higher potential, we can do a lot more than we normally do. Usually we feel limited by our notion that we can do only so much. So I can run 5 miles, but or let us start with something smaller, only 1 mile. So first day I'll be tired. But next day itself, I try to push myself and then I find I can run 1.5 and 2 and 5 and so on. So I need to push myself and then only I can realize that higher potentials, right? So earlier, we had those big families. Later we reduced the families. So now our potential has also decreased. So always strive for increasing potential other than decreasing the responsibility. We do the opposite. The opposite view is of what we call the dualist. जो द्वैतवादी है. He sees everything as different from him. So he tries to reduce. So those who can't take care of a small family shouldn't talk about Sarva Bhut Atma also. No? They can't even take care of a small family and they want to talk about seeing the whole creation as an extension of the self. That is just talk. That is just something that you're saying. So for attaining that power, for that we need to invoke the higher powers, the Sadhya Devas. So the Sadhya Devas thus have the capacity, they have this huge capacity to take us to Paramatma and also increase our potential. And they can increase our potential. So they are to be meditated on for successful living. Right? So Sadhya Deva will take us to Paramatma, but the ultimate aim will be they will enrich our living. They will enrich our living so that all the limitations that come to us, जो भी कमियां आती है ना हमारे जीवन में, whatever problems we face, they let us know how to surpass. Huh? So there are so many ways of worshipping the Lord. Sometimes some people find that this path is only right, the other is wrong. But we should always respect all paths. Even someone as great as Maharishi Dayanand Saraswati ji, he was a master in the Vedas, but he didn't accept Murti Puja. He didn't expect that an idol should be worshipped, which was it is right in a way for a person of the highest meditative aspect, someone who has the direct ability to meditate on the formless. For him, it is easy. But for others, they should understand that the common person needs that alambanam, that support on which to focus the mind. So, once Swami Dayanandji, he came to a Brahman's place, a very learned person, and he was very intelligent, so he always liked to talk about the scriptures. So he said, let's do some Shastrarth. Let us try to understand the Shastra. Let's do some Shastrarth. So Brahman said, look, you are a well-known Parivrajak sannyasi. You know so much. So we don't like to do Shastrarth with you. What is there to argue about? There is the highest Lord. We all worship the same Lord in different names, ways, and forms. And therefore, what is there to debate about? There is nothing that I say which should be against your thought process. Neither what you say is against mine. You promote the Vedas. So then, Dayanandji said, let's talk about Murti Puja then, because that was his favorite topic. So he said then, okay. So he said that for now, let us think that I am not a sannyasi and you are not a Brahmin. And let's leave that aside. So then let us discuss, is it necessary for a idol to be used? Murti chahiye ke nahi? So Brahmin said, okay. He said first, are you sure that you want to do this? He said, yes. So now this Brahmin, he was very well versed in certain practices in Tantra also, in scriptures also. So he brought an idol. He brought an idol, and that idol was actually made of atta, flour. So, and that was wet, and he shaped it into the form of Dayanand Saraswati. And then what he did was he did some abhimantrana, he did some chanting, and then he said, close your eyes. And then he pricked that idol at different places. And wherever he would prick, Dayanand Saraswati would fail. So he was very surprised what is happening here. Then at one point, he even pricked very hard and it drew blood from Dayanand Saraswati. So Dayanand Saraswati was very surprised. So he said, what do you want to prove by this? So he said, look, if you can have a connection with an idol over here, how can the all-pervading Lord not have such a connection? You are a simple human being. I could connect you to this idol. How cannot that Lord enter this idol that we worship? And how can he not bless us? So he was very surprised, and then he accepted. So therefore, there are so many ways of worshipping the Lord. We should be respectful. Hinduism has the biggest respect for all kinds of worship, right? So we have to learn to respect all those value systems and see whichever suits us best, and then we follow. So like we are looking at this portion on Gyan Marg. So we are looking at consciousness as the main aspect. So as long as consciousness is there will be Jnana. So and when there is Jnana, then what is the other complementary things that will happen? There will be Kriya, action, and there will be Ichha. There will be desire. Right? So either it will be whenever we are knowing an object, then there will come either a desire to have that object, and then that desire might make us go for an action. It might not be there, it might be there. For every object, we don't need to have a desire, and for any object that we have a desire, we can have pravritti or the activity or karma to attain that, or we may not, right? So these three things are there in different forms in the world, in different quantities in the world. So the desire for an object is pravritti, and the desire for the absence of an object is called nivritti. So these are the two ways you can have two kinds of bhava you can have towards an object, right? So now the whatever of these two will be there, but the total disappearance of desire is not possible. In the same way, activity also will be there. So now when you are looking at an object, then object and absence of object are the vishaya of knowledge. So you know pot and you know its absence. Both are kinds of knowledge. Both are kinds of knowledge. Same way, you have desire for having something tasty, something good, a rasgulla or whatever, and desire for not having rasgulla. Some people don't like, or maybe because of the sweet content. So both are kinds of desires. So in desire also, you can have two kinds. Okay, Gyan also you can have two kinds. Gyan also you can have the knowledge of the presence of an object, absence of an object, right? Same way, desire also you can have two kinds, right? Desire of having the object, desire of not having the object. Then come to the next one is Kriya. Kriya also same way two kinds. So you can throw a ball, that is also Kriya. You are throwing a ball, and you can stop a ball also. If you are playing cricket, you can catch the ball. So that is also Kriya, right? So whenever we are functioning in the world, whatever kind of function we do, then we have to look for the proper synchronization of all of these three. Otherwise, we will be unhappy. How? Because what does inability mean? Inability means any two of these being opposed to the third. Any of two. So, like I know that jhoot bolna galat hai, lying is wrong. But I need to lie to get wealth. So I have the desire to lie as well as to do the activity of lying. This is called this. We can have both ways of doing either kind of things. So, but if I have the ability to attain the object without lying, then I have my synchronized jnana, ichha, and kriya. That should be our purpose in all kinds of activities, right? If anything is lacking, we will have sorrow. But if it is there, then we have Aishwarya, abundance. So if I have a desire to have an AC in all rooms, but neither have the knowledge to acquire or do the action. So I don't have the knowledge to acquire where I can get the AC, from where I can buy it, or how to get it from the seller. So in either of these cases, I will have sorrow. So if I want to attain something, but I don't have that means I have the ichha, I have the desire. So in the world, whatever we are going to do, we have to have this cohesion. So if you look at Atma, Atma is one with Ishvara, but it has got separated because there is no cohesion between this jnana, ichha, and kriya. So the infinite Atma with infinite powers has taken up the identity of a jiva. It is buried under the small sorrows. So when you exercise and develop a healthy body, it gives you joy. But that needs a lot of discipline. So when you give up the disturbances and oppositions within your mind, they will help you attain this kriya. So today, when they teach you knowledge, कुछ भी ज्ञान की चीज सिखाते हैं, whenever they teach you, then they teach you how to just know about something. They don't teach you how to enjoy the object or how to attain the object. So that samanjas or that balance is not taught there. So like in school, they will have moral science. So moral science, they will teach you to speak the truth. But they will not awaken within you the desire to speak the truth. Ichha nahi leke aayegi. So that is why the morals are lacking. The balance is not there. Once there was a principal of a medical college. So that principal, what he did was, all around he put the signs that eating street food is not good for health. So students should not eat street food. So one day, one of his friends came along later in the evening, school is over, and he was eating chaat papadi over there. So he said, look, what you have put these signs up here. So what is happening? His ichha is not matched with his jnana. Yeah. So that is what we have to teach. Katni और करनी में फर्क है. So इच्छा with ज्ञान और क्रिया with ज्ञान, it should be matching. So that is the problem with our education system, right? If we have to match this, then only we will be able to produce well-rounded individuals, right? There are so many engineers who have done so much advanced studies, but if you ask them to repair a fan, then they will call a mechanic. They need someone to do that. So, look, they have the gyan, but they don't have the kriya, the desire to do that, or even the ichha also. So, even our old children, so they both my kids are engineers, but sometimes no, they will not be able to do something that is. But if I look at my elders, my father and others, no, they are not educated that much. But he will repair from the water pump to the motor to the fan to the AC, everything he will open and take out and repair and put back together. So that is the difference. No, though in the people of the earlier days, they had this samanvay between gyan, practical knowledge, you can call it. So that is how they are. So today we need that synchronization, that practical knowledge, so that whatever we learn, so this, this samanjas does not mean that a person having like, if I put a number to it, koi number lagate, someone has 2 gyan, 2 ichha and 2 kriya. So तीनों का matching हो गया, matching is done, he will be happy. But he will be as happy as someone having 25 gyan, 25 ichha and 25 kriya. So you can have less number of all of these 3 and still be happy. You can have more and still be happy. But if the synchronization is not there, then it will make you unhappy, right? So people say, no, science has increased our knowledge many times. So we say that we have to check. Only knowledge is not enough. You have to, has it increased your joy? So this is how we are learning about, how to be happy in the world. We are committed towards Paramatma. Now when we are living in this world, we have to get our act together. So let us see about science. So if you are looking at science, there is, you have a fan. Today you have ACs also, most houses. Earlier they used to do it with a hand fan, haath wala fan. So now, if you live in a village and you have a hand fan, you enjoy it. Then you go to town and you see an electric fan, and then you go to another person's house, a bigger person's house, and you see the AC. So now, does your joy increase with progress? You will say you enjoyed the fan and the AC more, but more than that is the sorrow. More than that is the sorrow that you possess the hand fan and not electric fan or AC. Right. So when we get more and more facilities, what is happening is our inability to have all those facilities gives us sorrow. So earlier there was samanvay, there was synchronization. Today also it can be there. Today also it can be there. But I have to have that ability to attain them. My gyan, ichha, kriya should be synchronized. Right. So I have to learn here 2 things. I have to learn 2 things. Where to put the limit on my gyan, ichha, kriya. Or if there is some gyan, some knowledge, some object that is beyond my range, I have to learn to stop my gyan, ichha, kriya at that level. हर एक level पे छोड़ देना. So wherever I can have all 3 balanced, then only I should go for it. That is the secret to keeping happy with what you have. So it does not mean you have less. You try to have more and more, but it should always be what you can manage. So what you could manage with 20 years ago, you will need many, many times more today. Because not only has inflation increased, लोग कहते हैं ना महंगाई, but people say inflation has increased. But the objects you need are increasingly available. More objects are coming. So the progress of science has not increased sorrow. Will not say that. But the imbalance of Gyan, Ichha, Kriya has done it. So science का काम ही develop करना. It's a job of science to develop, to create new objects. So we have to increase our Gyan, Ichha, Kriya in the same way, right? So coming back to the Sadhya Deva then. So now this attainment of this Sadhya Deva Bhava will not allow us to fall into sorrow. So, but why doesn't everyone attain to this Sadhya Deva Bhava? Because, there is a difference between the individual mind, the mind of the Jiva, and the mind of Ishvara. Hmm? And what is the conditioning that separates Jiva from Ishvara? What keeps Jiva as Jiva and doesn't let him become Ishvara? It is the mind only. Huh. So many people say mind is, because the mind is, so samsara is also there. मन है तो संसार है, मन नहीं है तो sometimes earlier people used to say अमन चैन से रहने दो. So aman there is, it means without mind. Actual peace comes when you can aman, if you can. So removing the mind only gives peace, right? So that actually, if you look in adhyatmic way, that is nirvikalpa samadhi. That is when actual ananda comes, actual, that highest joy. So what we call this worldly joy, that whenever we have this jnana ichha kriya samanvay, then attainment of an object is going to give us a joy. So now let us analyze what this joy means. ये joy है क्या? What this anand is? Is it anand or is it sukh? So when you are attaining an object and you say कि मजा आ गया, आनंद आ गया, we call it worldly joy. So actually that is sukha and not ananda. But what is the difference between sukha and ananda? The worldly joy is merely removal of the dukkha. How? Like you are bored. You are bored. So now you do something that you enjoy. So the dukkha of boredom is removed, and that you are actually calling it sukh. But you are just removing a dukh. हम सिर्फ दुख हटा रहे हैं, है ना? हम सुख नहीं हमें मिल रहा है, हम सिर्फ दुख हटा रहे हैं और हम उसको सुख बोलते हैं. We call that sukh. So actually, that is why we use a separate word ananda. But actually, scriptures say it's the same only. The true joy is one only. एक ही सुख है. Or like you are hungry. So you are hungry. So भूखे रहने का दुख है. The sorrow of not having food. So when you have food, you remove that dukha. So you call bada sukh mil gaya. But actually it is removal of dukkha. So same way, when we have a lot of fires burning within us because of our mind. A lot of fires. So what are these fires? Kam, krodh, lobh, moh. So they burn us. They give us dukkha. And we call their removal as sukha. So, but if you need true joy or true bliss, true joy or true bliss is removal of all objects as separate from you. All objects as separate from you. So, if there are some people in the hills, when they're climbing a very, not a very steep slope, then they carry some stones on their back. And then when the steep slope comes, they drop that load, and then they find it easier. So they find it easier to climb that steep hill because their body has been habituated, right? So this is what they are doing to give them stamina, right? But they say that it gives them joy when that load is dropped. वो वजन हट गया. So that is basically what we are saying. Same thing. The dukkha is dropped and we think we are happy. So same way we are also carrying needless loads so as to enjoy the shedding of that loads. That is joy for us. हमारे लिए वही सुख है. So first carry the load by creating all these desires in the world, and then enjoy relieving that load when that desire is fulfilled. So what about actual ananda? Actual ananda is of the nature of existence. Actual ananda is what we call bhava rupa. It is not something gone and then it came. It has its own existence. While sukha is of the nature of abhav. Kuch chala gaya, dukh hat gaya. That is sukha. So someone asked Bhartrihari ji that when will this bhava rupa anand be available? When will this actual anand be available? So he said it will be available when you totally remove your mind from objects and go to the Himalayas and meditate, and then let the flow of ananda take over by meditating on its nature. You have to know the nature also. Gyan hona padega. So with time, the place and the practice won't matter. Initially, you need to go away, remove the objects, and then you move to that place and you will be able to experience. And once you experience, you will not want to let it go. आप छोड़ना नहीं चाहोगे, right? So it involves moving towards sattva guna from rajaguna and tamoguna. We have to move from tamoguna and rajogun to remove the we remove the rajogun, tamogun, move towards sattva guna, right? Like whenever we do some puja, we are moving towards sattva guna. So we worship the gods. In other cultures, they worship dead people. So today we are also following them. We also do this. So actually, our culture does not say that we are not supposed to, idolize the dead. You can remember them, but creating places where you go and worship them or pay tributes to them is not the part of our culture. So when we first visited Rome, we were struck by the beautiful structures there. But the first thing I told was that they are worshipping the dead only. All things, all structures are built to worship the dead. So it's like they were holding on to a dead civilization, right? We offer flowers to living gods. Our gods are living. They are always there for us. They are not something that is so that increases the sattva. उससे सत्व हमारा बढ़ जाता है. And ultimately, in one such state of experience, when we are in that sattva experience, then ananda suddenly emerges. And that is of the nature of, we say, existence or bhavarupa. But what about the other person, the one who worships tamoguna? He is always with fear, always fearful. He is bhaya yukta. So that is why he worships, the negative entities, the bhoot, pret, etc. So though they may not hurt him. So don't just take it bhoot, pret in that sense, that negative sense, but they try to keep negative things away from them, understanding that. They are always worried कि ये चीज मुझे harm करती है, इसको दूर कर दूं. So this thing hurts me. So they are always living in fear. So the person who lives in fear, he will not move towards God. He will, even if he moves towards God, it will be due to the fear, for asking to remove some fear. That is how most people move towards God. So that kind of upasana for God, where you are asking for some desires, it cannot give you ananda. So the one who strives for ananda, he goes beyond fear. So tamagun causes fear, tamagun se dar, bhai. Rajogun causes anger, and sattva guna causes joy. So these are the emotions that bring us down from our search for ananda. Then there is another emotion. We call it udveg. Udveg karam nasti. In the Gita also Bhagavan says, don't let udveg take over your senses. So that you can say a simple English word for it would be anxiety. Udveg or anxiety. That is the most dangerous one. Udveg it comes out of what we call shunya, nothingness. It has no cause. So son is coming home from school at 3:30. 3:32, mother is ridden with anxiety. After 5 minutes, if dad is at home, she will tell, why don't you go and find out something? He will say, maybe the bus is a bit late, wait for a while. And so, she will be, if he had come at, say, 7 o'clock or 8 o'clock, then it is a cause for worry. But because of anxiety, we worry ourselves to the extent that we worry for things that don't need to be. So, uska koi reason nahi hai. There is no reason to get worried, but we worried about it. So, there were two sannyasis of a very well-known ashram. So, they were both a bit overweight. थोड़े से दोनों मोटे थे. So, they were walking along, and some of the kids, they saw them walking, and they said teasingly, बाबा लोग क्या क्या पता है, आजकल बाबा लोग पता नहीं क्या क्या खाते हैं. What these Baba logs eat a lot. So one of them was a very calm person. The other one got a bit angry, and he said that you should mind your tongue. Don't speak like this. You cannot speak like this to a sannyas. So then this other person, he just grabbed his hand and said, don't do it. He said, you will show anger, he will be happy. So तुम्हारे उद्वेग से उसको सुख मिलेगा, because that is what he wants to trigger you. So he took him aside and told him it's okay, because look, if he said to you that you are fat, and that is true, then why do you have to get angry? It is true. Accept it. If he says, what do you say? Yes, I eat halwa puri daily every day. So that is how. So therefore, getting into udveg is useless. Once you analyze the reasons why we get tense, no, then the tension will not happen. So the one who strives for Ananda, he goes beyond both of these features of this Udvek. So because Udvek is something, no, it creates a person who we call a person whose mind is very, very flickering. So like someone is inviting a boss or some of his office members to the party at home, and then they are supposed to come at, let's say, 8:30. At 6 o'clock, he will start bothering the wife. Khana ready ho gaya? कुछ बना तो नहीं, ये तो नहीं रह गया, because he's so anxious that they should be happy. So every few minutes he will be checking. Whereas if that had not happened at 8 o'clock, then he could say, yes, it is a cause for tension. But till they come, he will be worried. Right. So Udveg keeps us in that situation where we need to understand when to be anxious. It is not uh, it's not like we need to be in tension from the moment that we are planning an event till the actual existence. That is why in the Gita it is said repeatedly that karmanye vadhikaraste. So do your action, do your karma. Otherwise, your tension will eat you up. There is a line in the Shastras, avyavasthit chittanam prasado api bhayankara. So someone whose mind is fickle, no, even his happiness will be always cause you fear. You don't know when that person will change. So like husband comes home, the wife greets him with a smile, and he gives his favorite food also, that yes, if I give it to him, he'll be happy. Like whatever, dahi bada or paratha or whatever is happy. And so she gives it and he is happy. Now if this person is of fickle mind, next day he comes home, maybe his mood is not good. And then she does the same thing. Then he says, why did you use ghee? Why are you using so many? And I am tired and you are smiling. Tum has rahi ho. So the next day she says, oh, that I should change that. Huh? So next day she goes very seriously. Third day. But third day she says, yes, everything is so everyone is so fickle these days, and she's seeing all these things to reassure him, because it happens in his office. And the third day he's in another mood, and he says, I see angry faces and worried faces all day, and now you are here with a serious face. इसीलिए कोई घर नहीं आना चाहता. That is why it come. So that is why, and a person with fickle mind has to, you don't know how to handle him. Person who's angry, you can handle. You know that इस चीज से इसको गुस्सा आता है. This is the reason why he gets angry. So you can move away from that kind of thing, that whatever he does. So, but therefore, any person who is not in the right frame of mind, and you are always worried, that how he will behave, then that person is the worst form of all. So when we are moving towards Ananda, we have to be very, very careful that we control these emotions while enjoying the things in the world. We have to control these emotions. Right? We have to give up bhaya, fear. Whatever is going to come, whatever is going to happen, is going to happen for the best. We have to control krodha, anger. Anger, we saw that anger can be directed to a good purpose. You can use anger for doing something good, to direct you from doing something wrong. But otherwise, anger, we should not let us get out of control. But the third thing we saw, Udveg. Udveg is the worst of all, right? No point worrying about these things that happen to us in life, about worrying about situations when they have not yet arrived. So therefore, wait it out. Start worrying or do something proactive when the requirement is there. Otherwise, there is no sense in doing that. So there is a story about all of this. So there was a king. His name was Sudhir. Sudhir was the name of the king, and he got married, and his wife's name was Barhi. Barhi. So this king was a very thoughtful and very good ruler, very dharmic also. He used to do a lot of donations and all. And then his wife also was accordingly same. Similar. So they were both very well gelled. बहुत अच्छे से रहते थे. So from them a daughter was born. The daughter's name was Radha. Radha नाम की पुत्री. So she was born. So but after that they didn't have any child. So no child was born. So now the people were worried. They said to the king many times, no, why don't you get married again? Because you need a son to continue the lineage. But the king loved his wife. He could not think of bringing another woman also. So he didn't do that. Those days, king used to have more than one wife. But after some time, after a long time, the wife, in a few years, she was not very well and she passed away. And then now again, people were saying that now what is the problem? You can marry now. Earlier, you were saying that your wife will be sad or she will be unhappy. So you will not be. So now the king is learning how to regulate his joys, right? Regulate his joys and sorrows. So now in the time of sorrow, he's thinking of what the praja or the people are saying. So he said, okay, he decided, okay, let us look for a. So from his family, they chose another girl, and the name of this girl was Deepti. Remember the names of the stories in Puranas, they have a meaning at the end. So this Deepti was the girl who he married next. So after some time, they had a son also. The son's name was Bhoj. So the prince Bhoj was born to them. Now, on the other hand, that girl also, Radha also, she also grew up. It was time for her to get married. So the new queen, no, she thought that when this girl is going to be getting married, then I will be alone with the husband. Then again, he might think of marriage and all. So she thought that I will try to delay as much as possible. Itna latka sakte hain. So she said, and also another thing she thought, that when she gets married, she will carry away a lot of money. Dahej chala jayega. Okay. So Deepti always, she said no to all proposals. A lot of proposals came, but she said no. She said time has not come. Abhi samay nahi hua hai. Baad mein kar lenge. So now the king thought, after some time he said, it's already too late. So whether she agrees or not, I will marry my daughter. According to him, it was time to marry the daughter. Because a lot of people were saying other things also. No, but is something wrong? Why are they not marrying? So then he searched for a suitable person for a Rajkumar, and they ultimately decided to do the marriage. And then now his wife was still trying to cause problem. Abhi, it's still too early. But the king said, no, I am putting my foot down. Whatever I have thought, we'll have to go ahead and do it. So now he said, look, the thing is, I am a man. I don't know much about marriage and all. So I will give you whatever money is needed. You arrange the things at least for the marriage. Jitna dhan chahiye le lo, whatever you need, take the money, and I will ask you arrange that, and then I will hand it over to my daughter. So now the queen already had a very wrong attitude, right? So uski niyat kharab thi. So she said to the king, she brought a few stuff, and then she put that all in a big trunk. And then she said, all the stuff has come, and so now we are ready to do the marriage. And she hid the remaining money. In fact, all the jewelry that the king had made for the daughter, that also she hid away in her own place. So now she closed that, and then the king asked to see the stuff. She said, it's okay, I've arranged everything, don't worry. So king was a simple person. He allowed this marriage to happen. So now when the marriage happened, and when this girl reached the sasural, so then they all got together, to see what she has brought. People come together, dekhne aate hain, kya leke aayi bahu. So they were looking, and they saw that there were some very, very simple clothes and a very basic jewelry. Everything was not up to the mark. And being, they were kings also, the family where she got married. So because of this, because she brought something very less stuff, she said they were very upset with her, and they would start treating her very roughly. And they would say we should not have married our son to this family, and they would keep on teasing her and say doing bad things to her. But the king was very nice. He loved his wife, and he was always careful that whatever they use, he would calm her down. Usko shant karta. Because he loved her a lot. Now she was very upset, so she wrote a lot of letters to her father, that I am feeling very bad here. You call me for some time. I want to spend some time with you. And all those letters he sent, but her mother or the stepmother Deepti, she hid all the letters. उन्हें सारे चिट्ठियां छुपा दी. And the king didn't know. And when he asked that it's been a long time, let's call the daughter, and then she would say that she's very happy probably over there. That is why she never even writes a letter, and that is why we don't need to bother her. Now Radha was very, very sad. She said, so many letters I've written to my father, still he is not coming. So I will have to do one thing. I'll go on my own without invitation. So she packed her stuff and she took it in a bag, and she was carrying it along. And on the way, she reached the place where there were some people who washed the clothes, dhobi. So dhobi were there. So they were washing the clothes, and they said, Rani ji, today is the last day of the rain, Bhadrapad Purnima, they said. So Shravan Bhadrapad Purnima. So these days we don't wash the clothes because we pray to the gods that normally the dhobi, they pray that today rain should not come. But on this day we pray for rain. Because we are one universe or one society. For us, rain is not needed. For others, rain is needed. So this day we don't do that. So she was very impressed by their attitude. Very impressed with their attitude. She gave them some money. And then she said, asked them, what do we do now? I want to go to my father. So can you help me? So they said, okay. We will help you, we'll take you there. And then we will reach your father to your father's place. And then while she was about to leave, she said that I want to watch your puja. This Shravan Bhadrapad puja that you do, I want to watch. So maybe that if I learn it, I will also do this puja. So she watched them. They brought a shivling. बहुत सुंदर सा शिवलिंग लेके आए, and they did a proper vidhi for this Shravan puja, and she learned that. So basically what was done was they made that own shivling on their own, and they also taught her how to make the shivling. उसको सिखाया पूरा. And so she made a shivling for herself, and then she was attached to that while she was with them, and she carried that with herself. So now she went to her father's place. She went to her father's place. Then at her father's place, she learned that he learned about that his father was anxious. She learned that no letters had reached. So the father now was a bit surprised, but he was very happy that the daughter has came, and so he did all khatedari. He kept her very well, and then he said that, okay, now do you want to go back? So she said, yes, I miss my husband, so I want to go back. So while she was there with her father, every day she would do that shivling puja. शिवलिंग की पूजा वो रोज करती थी. So every day she would do that shivling puja. So after that, after a few days spending with her husband, with her father, she went to her husband. Her husband's name was Hridayesh. And when she went back, she was surprised to find that the king had grown in prosperity while she was here with her father. So somehow her puja had given the king good luck. So the king got become pretty rich, and then what happened was that Hridayesh had established a bigger kingdom. बड़े राजा बन गए. So she was very happy, and what happened was she went with him, and they started living separately. So now the family would not bother her, and so she was very, very happy. So now, while she was there, then one day, because the king has become very powerful, then this Raja Bhoj, the Bhoj was the son of the previous king. So he learned that this king had become very, very powerful. So he said to Raja Bhoj, said that I will visit my brother-in-law and ask him to help me to increase my kingdom also. Just like his kingdom has increased, I will ask him to increase my kingdom. So now when he asked to increase that kingdom, the king said, Hriday said, okay, you will, I will help you with that. So when Bhoj reached there, Radha was also very happy. She was happy the brother has come to meet her. So Bhoj said, you should come to us, to our home. It's been a long, long time when you last visited her. Because since this last visit, a lot of things had happened. A lot of water had flown. So then she asked what he came for, and he told about this thing, that my kingdom is very, very small. The people don't obey me. So the people don't obey me though. So therefore I want you to help me, because your husband has increased. So then she said that, look, I have done some puja with the shivling, and because of that I have found that this puja has helped my husband grow. So even whatever my help my husband will give to you, that is fine, you go and talk to him, but I request you to do this puja also. And she told him the full story about this. So that king, that Bhoj was, but Bhoj was not a very religious person. So what he did was, Bhoj, he took that shivling which belonged to his sister, and he said, why do you do this kind of stupid things? He picked it up and threw it into the water. नदी में फेंक के आ गया अगले दिन उसका. So she was very, very angry with him. She said, why did you do it? Why did you do it? And so therefore she said that, he said something, it is there in Charvak theory, if you have heard about it. He said, Yagyo Danam Trayo Vedaha Rudraksham Bhasma Gunthanam Buddhi Purusha Hinanam Jivika Eti Brihaspati. So he says Charvak people say that those who don't have buddhi and don't like to work or don't have strength to do work, they do this puja part, and they read the Vedas, which are useless. So therefore, such people are useless to society. So we should not do yajna and burn the ghee and waste the ghee. So ghee is meant to be eaten. So therefore, he said that this is wrong way to do. So, but the sister said, you did a very, very wrong thing. I don't like this. Whatever you have done, it is very, very wrong. Because I believe that whatever happens happens because of Bhagwan Shankar's Kripa. So now, I think we are running out of time, but okay, I'll cut the story short. So in the story, what happens is, finally that happens is that Raja Bhoj, he suffers a lot of losses when he goes back to his kingdom, and then his mother also, she also dies in that process. And then later on, the king learns about all the things that happened, and then he calls back his daughter and he says sorry to her. So in this story, what happens basically is that it is shown how that whatever we gain, we gain due to the grace of God. We gain due to the grace of God, and whatever whenever we give up that grace, then we suffer a lot. So there is more detail in the story. I didn't have time. It's a very long story, but we'll go into that some other time. So in this way, whenever we are doing all these things in life, all the things that we are doing to increase our ananda, we should always remember that there is a higher power to whom we should be indebted, And while being indebted to that higher power, we should also be aware of our faults. So calm, the bhaya, krodh, and that udvek that we should control. So once we control of all of that, then only we can become sadhya. Then we can become sadhya. We can be connected to our sadhya devas and earn their grace or their benefit, so that we will live a more happy and fulfilling life. Okay. So we'll wind up for today. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Guru Pyo Namaha. Hari